Hello and welcome to the Fake Sports League, where it's all statistics and no substance. I'm your host, Kenny Fisher, and these are the games that will decide it. After the Comets clinched last game, there are only 5 playoff spots left, and teams only have this week before rivalry week tomorrow. And with the season shaken out the way it did, it looks like there are going to be several rivals that may make it into the playoffs, but more importantly, keep their rivals out of the playoffs come rivalry week tomorrow. As you can see, a lot of great matchups today. You can always use the YouTube chapters feature to jump straight to your favorite team's games, or of course, you can always sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Make sure you jump into the Discord for any player injury updates and news, and I am itching to get into this one. We start things off at Comet Planet, where the Comets have a chance to have a little laid-back rivalry week. 7-1, they are already into the playoffs, but they are still fighting for a first-round bye. Los Lobos hoping to catch them sleeping a little bit. 3-5, Los Lobos still in that playoff contention, but they need some help. And a win over the number 1 team in the FSL could help them out, certainly. Sean Jacobs has been fantastic on defense, but can he lock down the MVP frontrunner Max Adams, who has just been phenomenal, and the 7-1 record proves it. 45 on the clock, and we start things out quickly. Manuel Cook, Ariel Johnson, 1-1. Los Lobos are not going to turn it over. Max Adams now on the board, and Rolando Johnson. It is 2-2, all tied up, and now Sean Jacobs gets a turnover going, and Los Lobos take the lead 2-3 under 30 seconds to play, and this is exactly the kind of game that Los Lobos want to play. Elva Noriga now with a turnover, but it's still tied. Make that a 1-point lead for the Comets, but it's tied right back up. This game is going to be close, and Los Lobos, exactly what they were hoping for, to catch the Comets slacking at home. 10 seconds remaining, a 1-point lead for the Comets, 6-5. The score stands 3 points for Max Adams, 3 points for Adrian Mitchell, but 7-5 now, and that last point won't matter. Time will run out, and the Comets will win. 7-6, the victory at home, and Los Lobos' season is into a bit of a frenzy now. 2 turnovers from Sean Jacobs keeps Max Adams for that 5-point potential. 4 points for Adrian Mitchell, the top scorer in this game, but Los Lobos are just weighed down by that 6 number in the loss column. And the Comets might have just secured that first-round bye. We'll have to take a look in the standings. But just an absolutely dominating season top-down. 1 loss to the Sharks on the road, but they make up for it with a victory over the Sharks last week. What a season for the Comets fans. I mean, y'all deserve it. Only the real ones have been right in and out with the Comets in Season 1. Let's head over to the graveyard. The Dragons hoping to get their 6th win of the season. If Dwayne Wells and Tobias Fonseca can shut down this Phantoms offense, I have no doubt that this Dragons offense can put up enough points. Phantoms got to dig deep at home here. 45 on the clock, and we start things out quickly. Now Chase Dubose gets the Phantoms on the board first, but Christopher Shaw ties it right back up. 1-1, 1-2. The Dragons now with the lead on the road. Christopher Shaw with his second, and a couple of turnovers here. Dwayne Wells and Adrian Brown, but Jared Kelly, it's a defensive battle going back and forth now with under 30 seconds to go. Still a 1-point lead for the Dragons, but now the Phantoms tie it right back up, 2-2 and 2-3. Christopher Shaw doing it all for the Dragons today. Coming up on that 10-second warning, the Dragons now with a 2-point lead, the largest lead of the night, and make it 3 points. This game might be over here. 2-5. The Dragons with a comfortable lead heading into the back end of this game. 4 turnovers from Dwayne Wells shuts this Phantoms offense down, and that will be the game. 2-5. The Dragons with the victory on the road. Christopher Shaw with 3 points. Dwayne Wells with 4 turnovers, and that sets the Dragons up nicely, 6-3 on the season. Phantoms just banged up a tough season. That might be it for them. It's back to the drawing board, rebuild, reload, and hope for better seasons ahead. It's time now for the Rebels and the Tide to go at it head-to-head. Both these teams fighting, the Rebels looking for a playoff spot, the Tide looking for a first-round bye. Who wants it more? A lot of talent on this Tide squad. Audrey Becker and Courtney Fowler holding it down on defense. Meanwhile, Lamar Brown and Brett Romero, even Dwayne Sullivan, has been really strong in these past few games. But the Rebels, crucial now. Every game is life or death for this program. Hoping the home field advantage can help them out in this one. 45 on the clock, and we start things out slowly. It's going to be a chess match. Stefan Fitzsimmons with a turnover. Howard Vaughn, a defensive battle back to Alfred Blair. It's just the defense is going back and forth. Courtney Fowler takes away from them. Nobody can put up points yet. Boris McLean and Courtney Fowler. It's just the defenses here. Stefan Fitzsimmons. And finally, under 30 seconds to go, Philip Bayless scores first in this one. An incredible defensive performance to start out this matchup. But now the offenses get it churning. 2-1. The Rebels with the lead at home, 2-2 now. A strong performance from the defense to limit this potent Tide offense, but the Tide take the lead now with under 10 remaining. But it's tied right back up. Max Peterson and everybody else in the Rebels with points on the board. Max Peterson again, 4-3. He got the start over Luther Vasquez, and he wins the game for the Rebels. I know there was a bit of controversy. Luther Vasquez healthy now and did not make the lineup. They liked what they saw in Max Peterson, and it paid off big time there. The Rebels still alive, 4-5 on the season, and a huge, I mean a massive win over the Tide today. And it's going to be that defensive battle. 3 turnovers for Stephon Fitzsimmons, 2 for Alfred Blair, and 1 for Boris McLean. A 6 turnover performance. That will be the difference in this one. And the Rebels win a defensive slugout. 4-3 the score remains. Tide will fall to 6-3 on the season. And the Rebels might be a dark horse candidate. I am itching to see these standings. But we got more games to see. This time it's the Mystics and the Knights. Mystics might need this one a little bit more at home, and the Knights still without Quinn McHugh. The Knights came down to the wire with the Phantoms in the last game. So despite the record, I might just give the advantage to the Mystics in this one, but it is close. Benny Braun gonna have to step up and be that guy for the Knights today. 45 on the clock, and we start now. Carlos Gutierrez quick off the board, 1-1. Elijah Ford ties it up for the Knights, but 2-1 now. The Mystics keeping it close. A tie ball game coming up on 30 seconds left, 3-2. And it's going to be the offenses that get things going early here. And now they slow down a little bit. It's going to be a defensive battle into the mid-stretch of the game. Mystics holding that lead. They will give it up now. 3-3. Elijah Ford with his second. Carlos Gutierrez has 3 points today for the Mystics, but it is back and forth, a really tight game. The Knights just behind in this one. Coming up on 10 seconds remaining, a second turnover for Benny Brock, but Burrow Packer keeps the possession for the Mystics, and it's still 5-4. 5 seconds remaining, tied back up. Could we see overtime here? The Knights fighting with everything they have, and Elijah Ford finishes it off for the Knights, 5-6. The Knights win it in a really close battle, and it will be Benny Brock with the 3 turnovers that gets it done for them. Elijah Ford, 3 points, a 1-2-3 combo from this offense. And if they can win games like that on the road without Quinn McHugh, then they are just adding to the firepower when the postseason rolls around when he's back in the lineup. 3 points for Carlos Gutierrez, but another 1-point performance from Percy Willis today. It's really tough going up against Benny Brock, but the Mystic season is on high red alert. 3-6, and we're just going to have to see what these standings look like before our in-conference rivals tomorrow. Here we go, Sharks and Frogs now. Frogs at home. Frogs a bit of an up-and-down season, but nobody more up and down than the Sharks. 4-0 to start the season, 0-4 to get to this point. 4-4, and without Al Key on the road. They looked like the best team in the FSL to start, but now it looks like anybody could hang with them, and the Frogs are licking their chops at home. Both these teams on the bubble for the playoffs. This one should be good. Put 45 on the clock, and we start things out with a quick strike from Drew Pruck, but Shabang Bang Richardson III, after some time on the bench, has really turned it up, making the most of his opportunities. This game is still close, 2-2, a tie ball game. Daryl Bates and Drew Park going at it with each other. In a defensive battle, Michael Neal with a turnover, but 2-3, Marcus Evans gets involved here. Marcus Evans again, make it 2-4. 3-4 now, Drew Park without any help. 3-5 now, Shabang Bang Richardson III, but 4-5, the Frogs not giving up yet. 4-6 now, 5-6, Fabian Hills with his second, keeps us at a 1-point game with 10 seconds remaining. Fabian Hills with his third now, well, Marcus Evans with his third, 6-7. Could we see overtime here? Game finish. 6-8, Marcus Evans with 4 points on the day. 3 points for Drew Park, and then Fabian Hills 3 points to finish. But this Frogs defense just couldn't stop the offense. Even without Al Key, Marcus Evans and Shabang Bang Richardson combined for 7. That would be enough, but Daryl Bates put an extra one just for that extra security. Sharks on to 5-4 on the season. And we've got one more game to play before we look at those standings. It is Flame and Red Pandas, our game of the week, and if there was ever playoff indications, it is right here. 3-5, the Red Pandas, 4-4, the Flame. A win here would be huge for both of these teams, and Gary Black is back in the lineup for the Flame. Oh, you forgot, the Flame have been doing all this without their top performer. Gary Black in the lineup. Xavier King holds down his spot at 3, and a fully healthy defense too. Jorge Silva and Kevin Welsh, the talented rookies holding it down. Joey Spencer and Clayton Harrington, got to get something going for the Red Pandas on the road if they want a shot at the playoffs. 45 on the clock. starting now. And a close battle, defensive battle. Cornelius Gross for the turnover, and Jorge Silva takes it right back. This is going to be another one that starts out defensively. Rudolph Lowe gets it out to Clayton Harrington, who scores. But Xavier King for the Flame gets the Flame tied it up. Not make it 1-2. Joey Spencer now 1-3. The Red Pandas with a bit of a lead here. The Flame cut into it with Xavier King now 2-3, under 30 to go. 3-3. Gary Black finally gets a point on the board for the Flame, but it's the Red Pandas defense that keeps it churning and keeps us tied as we head into 10 seconds remaining in this one. Joey Spencer, 2 points for him, 2 points for Clayton Harrington. The lead is 1, and there is 5 seconds left. The Flame tie it right back up. It is anyone's game, but the Red Pandas finish. Clayton Harrington with the last second buzzer beater sends the Red Pandas into the win column here at 4-5 is the score. 4-5 is the Red Pandas record, and that certainly shakes things up in the standings here. Flame need a little bit more there, but this Red Pandas team is not to be messed with on the road. I know you're all antsy to get to it. I am too. Let's see those standings. Tide and Dragons, an equal record at the top of the ISC. We will determine who gets that first round bye tomorrow. Flame will stay in that 3 spot after the Mystics, Los Lobos, and Frogs stay 1 win behind them. Now might be a good time to mention the Tide and Dragons have clinched a spot in the playoffs. The Flame cannot get into that top 2 with 1 game remaining, but they're going to have to win. As you can see here, the FSC now, all but one, have a 4-5 record or better. The Comets have clinched that first round bye with an 8-1 record. Knights will clinch, even though the Sharks could pass them. The question marks are going to be those at-large teams. So our conference bids are just about locked in, 3 out of 4 of them anyway. It is going to come down to those final 2 at-large. Could we see 4 FSC teams in the playoffs, or can the Flame get it done? Tune in tomorrow. We got 1 more game to decide this one. It is Rivalry Week tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then it's the playoffs. Thanks for tuning in to this official broadcast of the FSL.